Welcome to the Kraken Lair Podcast. I'm your host, Humberto Gonzalez. In this podcast, we're going to focus on youth fishing. In this episode, we have two special guests, Lane Argo and Levi Kohl. If you want more content like this, please like, subscribe, and push that notification button. My goal is to get to know as many youth anglers in the state of Illinois and more, to get you more information on how they think and what they go through before, during, and after tournament. Ready?
All
right. Welcome to our very first Kraken Lair podcast with our two guests, Lane Argo and Levi Kohl from Edinburgh High School. Lane is still in high school and Levi is now at Murray State University. Just to give you a little background on these two kids were partners last year. Levi fished for Edinburgh and ICASSTT for 2 seasons, so the inaugural season and last year's season. In season 1, he finished out of the 5 tournaments that he fished, 4 out of the 5, he was top 10, which was very impressive, especially with it being the first season. The bodies of water were Springfield, Newton Lake, Springfield again, and Shelbyville. And then they combined together to make this super team, which they ended up being one of my favorite teams to talk to at the weigh-ins, which was super great. So just a big thank you for being who you guys are, which is really awesome. So Levi's ICASSTT top 20 finishes. He had 12 in his 2 years of fishing. In the top 10, he had 10. In the top 5, he had 6, and 3 times was he an ICASSTT champion, and also can't forget the IHSA sectional champion as well. And for Lane, in the top 20, and this is just his first year, this is that he fished, and also in the fall season, he's fishing in season 3. He's got 11 finishes in the top 20, 8 finishes in the top 10, 5 finishes in the top 5, and just like Levi, 3-time champion and IHSA sectional champs, which to me is very impressive. I think the most impressive thing that you guys did last year was winning 3 events. I think that's super impressive, especially since the topic competition that we've had go through our series has, gotten so much better in just the first year that Levi was there. And just a quick thing that Levi can tell us is the difference from season 1 to season 2. What do you think you saw differently from those 2 seasons competition wise?
The season 1, it was mostly just the kids that I knew around there that fished them. And then a lot more people started fishing. There was a lot more hammers that I didn't know about or even know existed until they come fishing the ICASSTT stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I think we had a lot of surprise kids that were just not known. And I used you as an example for that as well. And I think we learned throughout the 2 years how big of a difference we had competition wise. All right, so let's get down to our 8 questions, and we'll start in alphabetic order. Lane will start us off with this one. What does Angler of the Year mean to you? Since before you answer that, I do want to emphasize these 2 individuals did win Angler of the Year this past season, and it was a co-op win because they both were partners and did phenomenal this year. So to you, Lane, what does Angler of the Year mean to you?
It means a lot because I was thinking that Levi was going to win it just because he's the graduating senior and he's put in a lot of the work. And I wasn't really expecting it, but it really made me feel better that because we did do it as a team. So it was just really special.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, you can't put it much better than that, right? The great thing is that we were able to give 2 awards out to 2 awesome kids, and I think that was a surprise for you, at least, Lane.
Yeah,
which is
it
great.
was
And
surprising.
it was pretty awesome. We kind of decided, you know what, why just give it to one kid? And we are different. We're a different organization, so let's do something different. So go to Levi. What does Angler of the Year mean to you?
It means a lot to me too. It was kind of a payoff to all the hard work that I put in every day on the water from daylight to dark, fishing all the time, practicing and traveling to events. It was kind of a, hey, you got this finally. You got an award for all the hard work you put in.
Yeah, for sure. And I think what people don't see is the hard work behind the scenes that you guys do. I think that for any competition, the hard work that gets put in for all these kids, and I think the award definitely just shows you how well you guys did, and it's well deserved. All right, back to you, Lane. Describe what your go-to, what you go through mentally and physically the night before a fishing tournament to get you prepared for the event.
I just try to go in there with an open mind and just trusting, because Levi does most of the pre-fishing, because he gets to skip school because he's got way better grades than me. So yeah, he goes out and puts in all the work, and I just have to put my faith that, which he's never let me down yet. So just got to put my faith that he found the fish and just show up the next day and just keep an open mind. And if we have to make adjustments, make them. But just go have fun and just go fishing. And if it happens, it happens.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty awesome that you had that much trust within your partner, and obviously it's worked out. So kudos to you for giving up that trust of being able to let your partner kind of do all the work and give you the information that you needed. All right, so I guess now this is a more specific question for Levi. Describe what you go through mentally and physically the night before a fishing tournament to get prepared.
Well, me and my dad usually sit down and we talk about my practice, and we kind of go through everything, what worked, what didn't work. I rig rods for hours, getting everything perfect, and then I'm always put together a game plan, what I'm going to do, like how long I'll spend on this spot, how long we'll spend here, and kind of go from there. I mean, things change during the tournament all the time. And if things don't go the way we want it to, I just take a second. Lane's seen it before. I take a second, sit down, and just retie and just think about what I'm going to do next. But most of the time, tournament night, it's very stressful. I usually don't sleep very much. And basically just constantly thinking about it all the time. Like it's an obsession.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the visualization makes you feel ready for it, so that when it happens, you kind of already did it, right? Which is pretty awesome. It's nice to hear some of the same like anxieties and stresses in a positive way that I actually had too as a wrestler growing up. So it's like the same thing the night before. You kind of just can't sleep, what you want to do, your game plan. So this is something that I really want people to understand, that fishing is just not, hey, let's go out there and throw a line and try to catch fish. I mean, there is a lot of strategy, a lot of homework that needs to get done. And I think not only you guys, but every kid that's out there that fishes competitively does the exact same. All right.
I want to say is give kudos to Randy, our captain. He's taught me whenever he come in, I was a junior, and he taught me how to stay calm, because he has so much patience. Taught me how to stay calm when them situations, when things go wrong. Because I used to spin out a little bit, and Lane can say that he helped me a lot.
That's good. Yeah, kudos to Randy. The boaters. I don't think people realize how much thanks that we need to give to our boaters, especially guys like Randy that helped you guys that did so much. All right, back to Lane. What's your post-tournament reflection like? So when you go home, whether it's a good tournament finish, a bad tournament, middle of the road, like what do you do to kind of decompress, think about what you did, or whatever it is that you need to do post-tournament?
So I'll just try to reflect and see like what we could have done better and what we can do to fix our mistakes for the following tournaments, because you only get a certain amount of opportunities and you want to make sure that you are capitalizing on those. And looking back on a lot of the opportunities that we had to win a lot more tournaments makes you a better angler in general, because you realize that the sport, you don't always get your way and stuff's going to happen. And you're not always going to have the opportunities. So it's just kind of a mixed emotion thing where you just got to deal with what happens.
Yeah, almost kind of like brush it off, but at the same time, pick yourself up and get ready to go for the next one. That to Levi. So how do you reflect on post tournaments? What do you feel like those same anxieties for your pre-tournament are still there, or is it something that just kind of goes away and you kind of get to reflect on what you did and did not do?
Well, it depends on how we did. If we won, it's the best feeling ever. Like, we just get in the truck, whoever was there in that truck that day, all we do is talk about it the whole way home, everything that went right. If it goes wrong, I don't really say much for a long time. Then I eventually talk to my dad, Lane's dad, or Randy about everything that happened through the day and just what we could have done different and what would have happened if I'd have went here, went there, and what everybody else did. Because I always pay attention on the water or what other boats are doing around me. That sometimes hurts me, but I always want to know.
Yeah. I've noticed kids, and even when I coach and I boated, like kids will focus on like what other kids are doing, and like they'll look at their spot or try to like zoom in with their superpower eyes and see what they're throwing. And then you kind of get to reflect on after the weigh-ins, did they beat you or did they did worse than you? You kind of can reflect based on that information that you get. And I think sometimes, like you said, that could be the worst thing for you because you're just not focused on yourself. But as a competitor, you kind of just do what you need to do, right? And that's just kind of what we do, which is great. All right, back to Lane. What's your go-to bait that you have the most confidence in? And then a second part to that, if nothing is going right and you can't catch a fish, what is the one thing that you can kind of tie on? And I know it kind of can go with both the confidence bait, but like what is that one bait or technique that you can go to and say, you know what, I am going to catch a fish or at least get some type of bite with this one?
This one bait, just a Texas rig, kind of answers both of them. A lot of the bigger fish that we weigh in have actually been caught on Texas rigged creature baits, even stick baits. When the bite gets tough, I always try to lean towards slower bottom baits. And every bait that I have tied on for most of the tournaments that we fish every year, I always have a Texas rig tied on because it's so versatile and it just catches so many fish. And that's one bait that I'll always have confidence in.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously without giving up any, secrets, you can be as vague as you want in some of these questions. I know some kids are super secretive, and all power to you. That's definitely something that you want to do. So to Levi, what is your go-to bait that you're always going to have tied on the front deck of the boat? And then what is the one bait that you are going to go to if you really just need to get one more fish or at least a bite to kind of get that confidence going?
Well, it all depends on the type of body of water we're fishing. But for most of the lakes we fish around home, probably the one that I have tied on if nothing's going right, or I always have tied on, is a boogeyman, which is a jig that me and Lane throw all the time. But for traveling across the country fishing college stuff, it all depends on the type of body of water I'm fishing. Like back home, Shelbyville, isn't the bait I'd be throwing at St. Chris. Like I have, it sounds weird, but I have confidence baits for like the style of, like the body and style of water I'm fishing.
Yeah, for sure. That makes perfect sense because I mean, even in Illinois, which we're based out of, I mean, we have different types of bodies of waters and different styles, which is super great. So yeah, it definitely does make a difference for sure. All right, so back to Lane. This question is for you to answer about your partner. So Levi is the angler he is because
he listens and he is always open to everything. Older fishermen or even younger fishermen, he just listens to everyone's advice and is never scared to try something new.
Nice. All right, so going to Levi. So same thing. You get to talk about your partner. So Lane is the angler he is because
Lane is as good as he is because, for one, when he shows up to the tournaments, he listens to everything I tell him. He never argues with me. He always listens, and anything anybody tells him, he always listens and picks it up. And he puts in the time fishing with me in practice and in the tournaments. I've never once had to call him and say, "Where the heck you at? We're supposed to be here." He's always there.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, it definitely, there's a lot of give and take for good partnerships for sure. All right, so back to Lane. Single greatest youth fishing tournament memory that you can think of. And I mean, you could be as specific or general as you want to be.
I'm probably going to have to go with the spring Egypt tournament because that was just such a fun day. Even though it was like really, really cold that day, we were just catching big ones left and right. And it was just great for everyone. Everyone caught fish. We were all just having a great time.
Nice. Yeah, that was super cold that day, and you guys did awesome. I believe from that Egypt that we were talking about, which is event 8, you guys took first, and there was 91 boats. So yeah, obviously did really well, and that's something that to be super proud of for sure, especially with the 91 boat field. All right, so Levi, same thing, same question. Single greatest youth fishing tournament memory.
Mine would probably be Lake Jacksonville when we won. Because that day we started off and we didn't get a bite till 9 o'clock, and we had 3 all the way up until 2 o'clock, and we had to be in at 2:15. And I threw off a point there, and I caught I think it was 414 is what it weighed that day. I set the hook and I said net, and Lane looked at me. He thought I was feeling full of crap. He didn't believe me that I had one, and it come up and jumped, and we were both freaking out. And then after that one, we kept pushing it and pushing it. I said last cast. I set the hook into a 4.5 pounder. And as we put it in the net, I just told Randy to go. He put it on plane while I'm putting the fish still in the live well. And we got in with 15 seconds left.
That's awesome. And if this are you talking about the Jacksonville one where you took first? Was it out of 29 boats or the 49 boat one? I think
it was the fall of 22. The fall of 21.
Okay. Yep. So yeah, that's the one that you guys beat one of the hometown teams, Jacksonville High School. You beat them twice. You one in Springfield and one in Jacksonville, but I mean, both times super impressive for sure.
I got one more. Throwing
Share,
it back
please.
To my junior year, me and Carson, my old partner before Lane got to high school, that Springfield tournament where we qualified for state, that was one of the funnest days of fishing, and we just caught fish all day long.
Okay. Yeah, so that would have been Springfield. Is it the one that you took 9th or 6th place?
6th.
That's always fun when you could just keep catching fish, landing, and it just kind of makes that day, I mean, just super awesome, right? All right, let's go to the next question. This goes to Lane again. So what are your goals to end 2023? So the season and this year. And then on top of that, what's the ultimate goal when it's all said and done? Whether it's post high school, post college, adult, whatever, what is the ultimate goal for Lane Argo as an angler?
So I'm gonna fish the co-angler side of the BFL this year, and my goal there is to just maybe make it to regionals and have the opportunities to win a new boat, and just to learn from like the boaters and stuff, and just see what other people do to see if maybe I can copy their techniques and master new techniques that I never would have thought about using on lakes that I usually fish around here. And the ultimate goal is just to try to make it to the Elite Series. That's just my goal before I die. I mean, I just want to make it to the Elites and maybe even
Yeah,
win a Bassmaster Classic. That'd be nice.
that would be awesome. Hey, if you ever there, you just let me know, just because I'll show up. Just got to hook me up, right?
Yeah, I'll hook you up.
Yeah. All right. So Levi, same question. What is your goal to end this year? And since it's college, you're different. So what is your goal to end this year? And then what is the ultimate goal when it's all said and done for Levi Kohl?
Well, my goal for this year is I'm fishing the Bassmaster College Series and then MLF. I want to hopefully qualify for both national championships, the Bassmaster and the MLF one. And then I'm fishing the LBL, BFL division, and the Illini division. So I'd like to hopefully win one or two BFLs and then qualify for both regionals, which would be awesome to see if I can win a new boat. And then my goal for the rest of the time is I want to finish my degree in college, and then I'd like to do my junior or senior year of college, try and save up enough money and go fish the opens to try and make the elites.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, you too. If you make it, I mean, just remember, hook a brother up, right? Just like, what's up, boy? Just say that when you do really well. All right, final question to wrap up the show. Again, thanks for doing this. I think this is going to be super fun for other anglers in our state to watch this and hopefully want to be on this show, which is the ultimate goal for me. All right, so final question to close out our interview. What is or what would be the one thing you would want future anglers to remember you by? So Lane Argo, what would you want future anglers to remember who Lane Argo was?
I'd like people to remember me as being a part of a dominant duo and being a partner with Levi Kohl and just all the stuff that me and him have accomplished in the very short amount of time that me and him got to fish high school together. I just want people to realize that we put in a lot of work to get to where we were at. And that was really special to finally like have a partner that I can actually win with and that me and him have the same common interest in. So everything just kind of came together.
Yeah, it's too bad Levi's not a freshman or a sophomore, and you guys can do this for two or three more years. That'd be amazing. Yeah, just to kind of
all you have to do was fail a senior year.
Well, if you would have failed, you wouldn't be able to participate in the activities. But I do want to add this duo. People don't realize, but for ICAST in the all-state points, the maximum amount of points that individuals can get is 100 points, and these two individuals got 88 points each, which to me, I don't think anybody is going to beat that in the near future. I think it's actually going to even get more difficult because, like Levi said a few questions ago, there's some really good anglers that are coming out and the competition's just getting better. So the ability to kind of win more often is getting harder and harder. Not to put anything away from these two that did win 3, but it's just going to be more difficult. Kids are getting better, kids are getting smarter, the field's getting bigger, and it's just going to be great. So I honestly don't think anybody's going to beat this dynamic duo and their accomplishments for a very long time, in my opinion. All right, to Levi to end this up. final question to close out the interview. What is or what would be the one thing you would like future English to remember you by, since you kind of are done in the high school series, but you still have college and kids still kind of follow you kids. I guess you're an adult now too, but kids still follow you, knowing who you are and knowing what you did. What do you want them to remember you by?
Well, I'd like them to remember me being a good person, a good sportsman. But most, I like to remember the dominance that we had and all the wins and the A.O.Y title. Just having a really, really good year.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, just from my perspective, just kind of add on what I just said. I really do think you two were special partners, and I don't think we'll see something very similar from other teams for sure. But I don't think we'll see something that's as dominant as what you guys did. And I think, and the best part is, I mean, every time I saw you guys kind of pull into the parking lot or even ready to weigh in, I already saw like that smirk on Levi's face and be like, oh, this is a good one. And you would just kind of give me that nod and be like, oh, this is a good one. So it was definitely special for me to watch you guys. And it's definitely sad that it has to end, right? Because kids graduate and move on. But I get to see Lane for at least 3 more years, and I'm sure I'll see you around too. But I just want to conclude this, that I do want to thank you guys for doing this. I appreciate this. I think this is a podcast, YouTube channel, video channel that people are really going to enjoy watching, and kind of get some more insight in who you guys are as anglers and as people. So thank you for doing this, and I appreciate it, and we'll see you around.